Hello friends, welcome back to another video. If you're not subscribed and you're new, I'm Kayla Bame, and you should really think about subscribing because I heard good things happen when you do that. So subscribe. For this week's video, I'm going to be showing off my artistic side again, and we're just gonna be looking through my drawing pads. I have 50 drawing pads. That's no joke. I have a lot. I hoard drawing pads. I was looking through some of my art pads and I saw some of my very first drawings, some really old drawings, and I saw a lot of unfinished drawings. I had a lot of sketches that I had done and I just never finished drawing them. So today we're going to be looking through my art pads, and you guys can tell me down in the comments below what you think of my art. I should put a disclaimer here. I did draw all of these, but the idea for the drawings, they're not mine. I read a lot of manga and watch a lot of anime, and so a lot of these drawings come from a manga called Tokyo Ghoul. And so I found cool pictures of digital art that people made of these characters, and I drew it. So they're not my ideas, but they are my drawings. So one of the first drawings I ever did was actually 2 years ago around Christmas time. My friend had been reading some of my mangas and she saw this picture of an eye and she sent it to me and she was like, hey, you should try drawing this. And before that, I had never actually tried drawing something out of a manga because the artwork tends to be really detailed and it's all in black and white, which is just really difficult, and I didn't know how to shade properly. A lot of what I do, I freehand it. I don't trace. I freehand and I copy the artwork and see how well I can do with the shading and stuff, and sometimes there is a difference. I try and get it as close to the art as I can, but this is the very first manga related drawing I had ever done. So thank you, Mitzi. Then I have this eye, and a long time ago I posted a video about how I draw an eye, and this is the eye from that video. Eyes are extremely difficult to draw, so that's why it might look a little deformed, but that's okay. We all gotta start somewhere. Am I right, ladies? Or gentlemen, if you're watching this, I don't know. So this is an unfinished piece. I had actually tried doing this picture multiple times, and this again was when I was trying to figure out the different pencils and shading, and I had to redo this a couple of times, and then it wasn't coming out the way I wanted the second time I went around drawing it, so I never finished it, and I had planned to redo it again, and I just never did. So that's why some of the shading on his face and his hair isn't done, because I never finished this piece. This is another one from Tokyo Ghoul. I'm just gonna say it right now, a lot of the characters I draw are from Tokyo Ghoul. So this is another one. This one was finished, and this was actually one of the first ones that it's one of my favorites that I did in the beginning because I really like how it turned out. The only thing I would have to say is that his thumb in the corner there kind of looks like a sausage finger. Hands are extremely difficult to draw. I'm still working on it. You either go with drawing sausage pudgy fingers or they look like skinny alien fingers. Hands are so difficult. This is a set of eyes that I drew back in April 2019, so almost a year. I got this idea from, I literally will Google search, oh, drawings of eyes, and this came up somewhere, and I think I might have found this one off of Pinterest. These are 3 eyes in the progression of crying, representation of me at all times. So I have this big art pad and it's right next to me. It's 18 by 24 inches. It's one of the bigger drawing pads that won't fit in a shelf. You kind of have to set it off to the side because it's so big. And this drawing was the first big drawing that I have done, and one of my favorites just because it was the first one that I had ever attempted. I saw these big drawing pads and I was always like, oh, I would never use those because it would take so much time to draw something in a drawing pad that big, and now it's the only one that I use. And this one was done in April of 2019 as well. I try my best to date my artwork now, or to date my drawings now. In the beginning, I never did, but now I know. I don't know if there's any other people that draw or paint that do that, but I always sign the back of it and I put the date from when I finished it. I don't know if I'm just weird and I'm the only one that does that, but I do that with all my drawings now and my paintings. This one is definitely, I keep saying this one's one of my favorites. This one is probably my favorite. It's my screensaver on my phone. I think this is the first time I actually did a drawing and I was like, oh wow, like I actually did pretty good. Like he didn't come out looking like an alien. I really liked the shading on this picture. I'll try and find the original pictures that I took inspiration from, but this one has been the lock screen on my phone because I really am proud of this one. This one was done in September of 2019. Sometimes, and again, this might just be me, let me know if I'm just an oddball about drawing. Sometimes when I take a large break between drawings, my technique level isn't as good as it once was, and it kind of takes me a minute, like kind of like I'm rusty and I need to get all the rust off. So if I'm like constantly drawing, my drawings tend to like be really good and like the technique gets better, but if I take a large amount of time in between drawings, like a few months, I always find that I struggle to get my shading down quickly like I used. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying? If you're an artist, do you know what I'm saying? This one, I don't know how I feel about this one. The hands look a little funny, but his hands always look a little funny. I am trying so hard to get down hands. It's a process. This one was done in December of 2019. I did this one after I finished my semester in school, because when I'm in school it's kind of hard for me to draw a lot. But I did this one right after the semester ended because I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't done a big drawing in a while, so I did him. And this one was actually very challenging for me because of the mask, the teeth, and the shading. It was a lot of black and grays because his mask is black, so I had to be really careful with the way I was shading it. So this one I did in January of 2020. This one I remember I did the sketch for this one. I sketched the whole thing out and I actually started doing details on his eyes, and then I realized that the black-haired guy wasn't in proportion to the white-haired one. So after I spent a couple of hours doing it, I had to start all over because I started shading his eyes, and at that point it was the point of no return. I think this one could have been better, but I actually do like the way the hands turned out. I don't think I did half bad on the hands on this one, and I also don't think I did super bad on his eyes. And this one is also not completed. I started this one in the beginning of quarantine, so March? I started it in the beginning of quarantine, which was I think in March, and then online schooling just took over and I had to really focus on that, and I had to teach myself statistics, which was not fun at all. So I didn't really have a lot of time to finish this drawing. I really want to, because the way that it was turning out wasn't half bad. I really like the way his eyes turned out. I like the shading around the hands and the shading around his collar. I think I did pretty good with that, if I do say so myself. But that's the major pieces that I had done in my drawing pads. Let me know what you thought of my drawings. Please be nice. I've never taken any drawing classes. I've never had anybody teach me how to draw. This is just something I like to do for fun, and I'm self-taught, so I don't even know if my technique is actually correct. It's just what I see and what I like, so that's how I do it. But let me know what you thought in the comments below. Give it a like if you enjoyed looking at my drawings. That's gonna be it for this week's video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you back here next week.